You know, since we arrived out here from the airport when we were in Heathrow to coming out, the love that we've received from AC in Europe has been unbelievable. Could you give yourselves a round of applause? I'm just excited that I get to talk to you today. And what I really want to talk to you about, my hope is that you really listen. My hope is that you don't allow yourselves to be distracted in text messaging. My hope is that you're not just physically here, but that you're present. Because it is possible to be someplace and not be there. And I really want you to be here. So, for this window of time that we have together, can you just be here? Do you promise you can be here? Okay, awesome. Then let's begin. Why did you come here this weekend? I love you. How many of you, thank you so much. Did you come here for your family? How many of you came here because you want to see your family prosper? How many of you came here because you want to see yourself prosper? How many of you came here because in your heart, you still dream? For whatever the reason you came here, you invested time, you invested money to be here. And when you do something that's not normal, like fly to another country on a weekend for a business meeting, some people in your life think you're crazy. See, the thing I know about human beings is that when one person decides to go in a new direction, a lot of times the old people in their lives, maybe family, maybe friends, business associates, they look at you like a photograph and not like a motion picture. So when you begin to change, it makes them very uncomfortable. And so when you say, I'm going to Rotterdam, and then when you call them up later and say, I'm going to be going to Madrid, they look at you like you're crazy. But the reason why is because they have stopped dreaming. For most of those people, they're what I call, in some cases, most cases, the employed slave. See, when you do something you love, then like you heard earlier, you'll never work another day in your life. But most people are doing things they don't love. And when you're doing things you don't love, but you might be getting a paycheck for it, and then someone else says, hey, I found a way out. If you have an employed slave mentality, you can't even hear when they give you the ACE opportunity. Because it's not that your hands are shackled, it's not that your feet are shackled, your mind and your soul and your spirit are shackled. And if I get your mind shackled, if I can shackle your mind, I don't need to touch your body. I get your body by default. And so I want to acknowledge all of you. Because even when you leave here, you're going to go home and face some people that don't think the way we think. They don't want the things that you just said you wanted. And they're not going to be so positive. But you have to realize something. For most people, here's the reason why. Because they have metathesiophobia. A Jamaican just said that. Man, ACN has educated this brother. Let me tell you. Metathesiophobia, which is the clinical definition for fear of change. Medically, there's a medical condition for people that are afraid to change. They will give them counseling. They will give them treatments to open up their minds to be willing to change. Isn't that something? So by the time you show up, you think to yourself, oh, I'm just going to give you an opportunity. But if that person has that condition, no matter what you say, that fear of change has them run away from you. Like, oh my God, are you trying to give me an opportunity to change my life? I don't want to change my life. I get to wake up every day and go to work and get my paycheck. I know I hate my job. Or if I'm a business owner, I know I have no time for my family, and I hate that, but I'm not willing to change and do something about it. You should acknowledge every single person in the arena next to you. You should acknowledge yourself, because you do not suffer from metathesiophobia. That when the opportunity came about for you to look at this business, and you saw what you saw, you were willing to become someone else to get what you really wanted. In other words, you wanted the entire meal, not the scrap of food on the floor. So look at the person on your left and on your right. Left and on your right, and say, congratulations. Sir Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton has something called the first law of motion. It's also referred to as the law of inertia. And it says an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. And the definition of inertia is a tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged. Oh my gosh. When I read a lot. I read a lot. ACN taught me to read a lot. Before ACN, I read nothing. I used to make fun of people that read. Like, you readers. Don't you know it's on television? But when I got an ACN and Mr. Grip Provenzano said read 10 pages a day, I'm thinking, okay. Well, he's the owner. Let me just do what the man says to do. And I started pouring myself in. Here's what I found. That there was all this information in books. And so I started reading law and politics and science and all these things And all these things kept, in their own way, started to validate ACN. So when I read about the law of inertia, then I realized that some people live their lives in a state of constant inertia. They will not move. They refuse to move. And they're going at the same speed. In 2012, their life looks no different than 2008. In 2017, their life looks no different than 2012. They're moving at the same speed. Their life looks exactly the same. They eat the same food, hang out with the same people, dress in the same clothes, do the same things. They can drive to work and not even remember how they got there. But what Sir Isaac Newton said, which was huge, was unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. I was in a state of inertia. I just didn't know I was in a state of inertia. See, for people, there's two unbalanced forces in ACN. The first is circumstances, or your situations. Most people live in the sewer of circumstance. Everything that happens, happens to them. But for some people, you in the audience, you become the unbalanced force. See, because everybody in here was moving in a particular direction at a particular speed until someone gave you the phone call about ACN. And when that person gave you the phone call about ACN, that person became the unbalanced force in your life to move you from a state of inertia to momentum. In Europe, our company has the unbalanced force. The Circle of Champions members represent the unbalanced force of the company in AC in Europe. These individuals, night after night, day after day, phone call after phone call, meeting after meeting, coffee shop meeting, home meeting, does not matter. They take thousands of phone calls every single week. They send tens of thousands of text messages every single week. They have their families, just like you do. They have their children waiting at home, just like you do. But they were willing to unbalance their lives. They don't want to live in balance. And even though those people in that photograph are financially independent, they still have their lives unbalanced because you're not yet financially independent. Now, let me ask you a question. If you became totally financially free, would you spend the rest of your life doing that for other people?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
When I get a message from Bosch that he's in one country and another 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 country, and he doesn't have to work another day in his life. When I see Art Napolitano hopping on a plane going to 8 cities in 8 days, doesn't have to work another day in his life. When I see Ahmed Mukhtar and he's doing phone call after phone call and meeting after meeting and launch after launch, when he's training launching, when he's training to get somebody started, and he doesn't have to do another thing a day in his life. The question isn't, do you want to be successful? The question is, who will you become once you are there? Will you still have the same desire in your heart to serve somebody else once you're there? But some people, it's about them, and if it's about you, it's not enough. It has to be about other people. Look around you, everybody. This is about other people. So because I was coming to Europe, I love to look things up. I love to research things. And I wanted to know, what were the most spoken languages in the world? What do you think is the most spoken language in the world?
España. España.
Who says Jamaican?
España.
Everybody say Yaman. Okay, we're on our way. The most spoken language in the world happens to be Chinese.
Está buena esa foto, ¿eh?
It makes sense that there's 1 billion people in China. When you have 1 billion people any place, it's probably going to be, you get what I'm saying, okay? So I looked at this and I said, no. I mean, Chinese, Spanish, English. I mean, you see the listing, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, no. That's wrong. There is no way that Chinese is the most spoken language in the world. I know for a fact, it may not be Jamaican, but I know for a fact, there's no way that Chinese is the most spoken language in the world. So for all of you who thought it was Chinese, I'm going to give you right now the most spoken language in the world. It's called Quidditch.
Yo sabía que iba a salir con algo así.
See, Quidditch is this amazing language that I can go to
Así
Germany
era la moraleja.
and they really speak German, and some people speak Quidditch. That I can go to the UK, and yes, the majority speak English, but there's a huge percentage that speaks. See, what I realized doing my own research is that Quidditch is by far the most spoken language in the world. Quidditch is not only powerful because it's the most spoken language in the world, Quidditch is powerful because every day new people learn the language. Every single day. New people never realized they had the ability to speak Quidditch. When the opportunity for something difficult comes along, all of a sudden they say, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could speak Quidditch. Do you see an opportunity for yourself in ACN? Absolutely. Okay, let's schedule a launch. Don't think I can do that. Now, I am now speaking. John joins the business on Sunday morning. John on Monday tells you, I am going SVP in 30 days. And you say, no one's ever done it in 30 days. That's because I was never in the company. But now that I'm in the company, I'm gonna break every record. And on Wednesday, John sends you a text. John can't even call you because the phone call would require courage, and any coward can hide through a text message. And John gives you some really great excuse like this. Ready? Hey man. Hey man. Can't do ACN. Wife says no. Sent. And you're like, oh, Quidditch. Oh, I didn't know John spoke Quidditch. It's amazing. Another one. Let's add him to the list. So when someone, Europe, you'll never forget this. Whether you're doing meetings in Norway, meetings in Scotland, meetings in the United Kingdom, meetings in France, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to get together at your meetings, at your events, and say, how many new Quidditch people did you find today? But you don't want to speak that language. You want to speak the language of until. Now, there's such a small population of people that speak the language of until. See, the language of until is such a rare, there's some dialects in the world right now where less than 100 people speak that dialect. I found this stuff out. It's amazing. Imagine 100 people speaking a dialect that is just so unique that only about 100 or so people will speak that dialect. That's like until. See, until is this dialect that is so rare that you can travel all across the world, and if you find a person that speaks until, your life will never be the same. You see, some of you in here came this weekend kicking and screaming, and you were probably on the verge of speaking Quidditch. My question is, are you willing to learn the language of until? See, when you learn the language of until, you end up like those two gentlemen, Mr. Contrada, Mr. Islam, up on this stage getting promoted to regional vice president. When you speak the language of until, someone is going to get behind that microphone in Madrid and give your story before you walk the stage for your parade. When you speak, I don't know if you saw this or not, but when those RVPs got promoted, their names were lit up around the arena in lights. You see, when you speak the language of until, the arena will be lit up for you. Now, here's the thing about the language of until. When you speak that language, you have to be willing to embrace ridicule. See, until is an imperfect language. It just creates a perfect life. Until is an imperfect language that creates a perfect life. Until is not easy to learn. Until you'll be frustrated, you'll be tired, you just want to give up learning this language because it's one of the most difficult languages in the world to learn. And when your friends and family or people that you care about are pointing at you in ridicule, why are you speaking that language? Why are you trying to learn that language? Come over here. We all speak Quidditch. The question is, are you going to be strong enough to handle that? I have family members, when I joined ACN, that laughed hysterically at me joining ACN. They laughed hysterically. I would call them and they would call me the telephone man. During holidays, they had nothing but jokes. Hey, how's your business going? But here's what's so funny. They aren't laughing now. fact, during family get-togethers, when everyone's laughing in the room, when I walk in, they stop laughing. They're like, ah. The only reason why more people don't master the language of until is because they rear view mirror their lives. See, if you're the greatest driver in the world, if you're a Formula One race car driver, Mr. Hamilton, but you're always looking in the rear view mirror, you're gonna crash. And so many people I meet, they have a perfect opportunity in their hands, but they won't let go of past failures. They won't let go of past failures. They won't let go of past failures. It's like being in a new relationship but dating your ex. You have a perfectly new opportunity, but you're not physically with this person. You're not with this person. They lay next to you, but you're not with this person. They're physically having breakfast with you, but you're not with this person. You're not with this person. You're with all those other people. And you bring all that baggage from all those other people to this person. You ridicule this person. You mistreat this person. And this person did nothing to you. But you're punishing this person for all those people that aren't thinking about you anymore. Does that make sense? So you join ACN and you have this opportunity. This is your opportunity. But you think to yourself, well, I've never succeeded in anything. That's bringing old baggage. My family said this will never work. That's bringing old baggage. I've never made more than 50,000 euros in a year. That's bringing old baggage. I don't know how to really do this. I've never been successful. That's bringing old baggage. And here's this new opportunity right here in front of you. And you won't let go of your old. So you punish your new. Your old is back there, but you're punishing this here. Don't you know that reminiscing is death to potential? When you reminisce, you lose either way. Let me explain this to you. When you reminisce, you lose either way. If you reminisce on old failures, then you punish yourself emotionally for new opportunities. However, if you reminisce on old successes, you punish yourself for new opportunities. I understand you're a great engineer, and I understand you have more degrees and merits, but can you get a customer? I understand you're a very important doctor. I understand you're very important in governmental affairs, but can you have a meeting and invite people? Look, I don't want to hear about how you were great back here. I don't want to hear about what you did over the last 15 years. That's reminiscing, and reminiscing is death. I want to know, what are you going to do over there? I understand you were successful out there, but am I ever going to see you up on the stage? Am I? Are you sure? Man, this stage is so empty. There's confetti up on the stage. There's blue carpeting squared out on the stage. There are timers and there are lights and there's speakers, there's strobe lights, there's all these things up on the stage. But the stage without you is worthless. The speaker with your story not being heard is worthless. The microphone with your lips not speaking into it is worthless. The ramp is for you to walk up. That ramp is for you to walk down, to then come back around and walk back up again. But you can't do that living in the past. Some of you had a goal to be promoted for this event, and you didn't make it. Now you have a choice right now. You can stay in the sewer of reminiscing, or you can set your eyes to Madrid. You can focus yourself on your next event to walk that stage, or you can sit feeling sorry for yourself for what didn't happen. Don't you understand that in life?
¿Qué dice Juani ahí, la frase? Nunca te rindas. Nunca abandones. Nunca te rindas. Nunca te rindas. Nunca abandones. Gracias.
When you want it, you'll go get it. When you want it, nothing and no one, nothing and no one can stop you. I live in Baltimore, and when I moved to Baltimore for the first time, Baltimore, Maryland is a place where crabs, everyone that's there is crazy for crabs. They is crazy for crabs. They will serve crabs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Crabs and eggs. Crabs and bacon. Crabs and porridge. I'm thinking, this is crazy. So one day, I wanted to have a crab feast for some people that we work with on the team. Now, I don't eat crabs. But once I said crab feast, people were like, oh my gosh. Crabs. And so this guy came and he had this huge pot. And this pot was filled with crabs. And he turned on the boiler for these crabs to begin cooking them. But he left the lid off. Now, I told him, I said, hey, look. And I saw them climbing towards the top. I was like, look, I need you to put that lid on. I'm not trying to have money crawl away. Okay? And here's what he told me. He said, you never have to worry about a crab getting out of a pot because the other crabs will always pull them back. I said, what? He said, look, so I'm looking at these crabs. One crab is almost at the very top. Almost at the very top. And another crab crawls over the top of the other crabs just to grab that one crab by the leg and pull it back in. And I sat and I watched this. Every time one crab was almost at the top, another crab would come along and pull it down. Even though the other crabs were dying, they wanted to make sure no crab got out. Even though these crabs were dying. Instead of trying to get out, they wanted to pull the other crabs back down. So you come along and you have all these dreams. You have all these desires to be successful. You have all this hope in your heart. You tell the people you care about that you want to make this work. And just like little crabs, they begin grabbing at your legs. But don't you look? I want you to always remember this. Always remember this. If people try to put you down, it means you're above them. That's the bottom line. Get off. Get off. Stay there. Now I gotta go wipe my shoe. Because when you have a desire that's higher than just pay my bills and get by, when you see your life on a new level, where your vision goes, your body will go. Your life will always rise or fall with your vision. Einstein said, great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. That's a fact. You have something deep inside of you and you want to let it out in the world, and they're telling you stop. You got to ignore that noise. You got to shut that down. You got to stop the noise when they start in your ear. When they start to go into your mind, the most sacred place is here. When they try and get in there with their thoughts, their opinions, their lack of belief in you, you gotta shut the noise. And you gotta keep moving. You must. Because we live in this incredible world. This world is unbelievable, but it requires your courage. This planet, your planet, my planet, needs people that speak the language of until and display courage. Courage is not a common thing. Courage is so uncommon. Standing up for what's right is uncommon. Being punished because you believe what you believe is uncommon. Giving your life for almost 30 years for what you believe is uncommon. But don't you want an uncommon life? Someone asked Nelson Mandela, how did you survive 27 years of your life in a prison, solitary confinement? His prison cell was this big. And he said, music. And he said, what do you mean music? He said, they beat me, they tortured me, but in my heart I had a song of freedom, and they couldn't get my song out of my head. What is your song of freedom? Are you willing to guard that song? Are you willing to hold on to it? The last time I was here, we had a conversation. 9.6 kilometers. We had this conversation, and I believe that a lot of you were really listening. 9.6 million miles, or 9.6 kilometers, I should say. 9.6 kilometers is the distance from which a lion's roar can be heard. So if a lion is sitting here, 9.6 kilometers away, its roar can be heard. 9.6 kilometers away, the roar will be heard, establishing to every animal around, I'm here. Oh, everybody, do me a favor, lean forward. Even up there, just lean forward. Just lean forward. I can see you. Lean forward. Lean forward. Can we talk for a second? Can we really talk? Okay, my beautiful European family. So even though I was blown away by that, I got something for you. Oh man. And here's the reason I'm pausing right now. Because if you can get this into your minds, you'll never see your world the same again. Are you ready? There's something called the Mariana Trench. Has anyone ever heard of it? It is the deepest part of the ocean. It right now, to go to the Mariana Trench, you've got to go 11,034 meters to get to the Mariana Trench, to get to the deepest part of the ocean. Man, I'm so excited about this. I'm just... 11,000 meters to get to the bottom of the deepest part of the bed of the ocean. How many think that's incredible? Well, I'm going to show you something right now. And in my remaining time, I want to show you something. Is this fair? Are you with me? I need you to raise the lights in this arena all the way up. So please turn up all the lights that are in this arena. I'm going to show you about oceans right now. If you have something in your hand, I need you to put it down. If you have something in your lap, I need you to put it down. And I need you to stand up. I want you to look around. How many of you have ever seen an ocean? Of course you all have. Now I want you to face me. And I want you to put your arms around the person next to you like this. And I want the camera to get this. If you've ever seen ocean waves, they move back and forth, in and out. Yes? They move back and forth, in and out. Yeah, you're getting it. You ever seen ocean waves? They move back and forth, in and out. You see, there's this whole conversation about we are ACN. And in this room, this is an ocean. This ocean is an ocean of freedom. Back and forth, in and out. The person next to you that's rocking with you, they want it just as bad as you do. Some of you are touching somebody that already has it, but now it's your turn. But here's what's crazy about oceans. Sometimes when storms come, the waves move faster. You know when storms come because the skies get darker. And here's what I know. I truly believe the clouds are gathering. I believe the clouds are gathering. And I believe that Asia and Europe is bringing a storm. And I think that this storm is going to change the landscape of business in Europe forever. And I believe that those who speak the language of Quidditch are going to be stuck to their televisions, watching the waves of freedom that circle all around you. Remember I told you about the Mariana Trench? Do you remember I told you about the Mariana Trench? Do you remember I told you about the Mariana Trench? Then I've got something to tell you right now. I said 9.6 kilometers was the distance from the roar of a lion, but here's what I found out. That below the Mariana Trench, which they thought was the deepest part, they found something called Challenger Deep. Everybody, don't you stop rocking. Don't you stop. You keep going. Left to right. Right to left to left to right. And here's what they discovered. Are you listening? What they thought was the deepest part that they could measure, they found this gap called Challenger Deep. And Challenger Deep, this small little gap in the bottom of the ocean, they thought that the ocean's potential was 11,034 kilometers or meters deep. That's what they thought. But then they figured out that Challenger Deep was over 10,000 meters below the lowest part of the ocean. You see, even though you think you're at your best, you're not there yet. You've got more inside of you. There's another level of depth to you. There's another level under you. People see the surface of your wave right now. They don't see what's under. So what do they do with Challenger? Don't you dare stop rocking. You better rock. You better rock. This is your workout for the weekend. You better rock. So they developed a sophisticated instrument because they said, what in God's name could be down there? Let me explain this to you. If you took Mount Everest and you put it inside of Challenger Deep, it would take another 50 kilometers and it still wouldn't touch the top. That's how deep this trench is. So they put these instruments, they said, what could possibly be down there? What could possibly be in Challenger Deep? What life could be in there? What sounds would we hear? Do you know what they heard when they went to Challenger Deep? everybody. God is amazing. God is so amazing that your voice would be the only thing that could be heard in now the known deepest part of our planet, that your voice is in harmony with the planet, so that the only thing that could be heard in the deepest part of our planet that we've ever been to and explored, that your voice, not some other animal's voice, not some whale groaning, your voice, that nothing can stop your voice from penetrating. Your voice cut through the planet. Your voice, nothing else but your voice. Your voice. So when people come along to you, and they're going to come along to you, and they want to shut you down, they want to shut you up, they want to have you be quiet and go back to your desk. It's because they don't know you have a voice of freedom. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know. You'll never shut me up. You'll never shut me down. I'm an ACN. I can't be quieted. Look at the people around you. Look around you. Look around you. I'm telling you, ACN Europe, the storm clouds have gathered. The waves are getting stronger. And the only thing that's gonna be heard all across Europe is the voice of freedom from everybody in this building, wherever you go home, wherever you live. You remember this moment. You remember you cut through the ocean. You remember you cut through doubts and fear and worry and disbelief and how am I going to do it? You remember that your voice goes into the heart of our planet. You remember that you are kings and queens of this planet. You remember and kings and queens are free people. But let me talk to you, royalty. In our business, you claim your status by freeing people. So here's what we're going to do before I get off this stage. Don't you dare stop rocking. I just know this, inside of you for the longest time, how many of you know some of you have been a bit too quiet? You've let other people's opinions muzzle you like a dog. And you're kings and queens whose voices can be heard in the deepest part of our planet that's been measured in history. And you let other people that ends today. sure? Then here's what we're gonna do. This blue, if you cut me, I bleed blue. Are you ready? I believe it's time you learn what you're really capable of in your ability to communicate. So from your gut, when I count to 3, I'm telling you that I want the only thing to be heard in Challenger Deep is your voice. And I'm talking about this voice that I'm about to hear is for everything that you want. It's for all the times you shut up when you should have been heard. It's for every moment you've allowed yourself to fall back when you should have been on attack. See, this sound you're about to make, I want to rattle the paint in this building. I want to have it cut through the concrete on which you stand. I'm talking about this moment you're about to have is you letting the world know you are here and you will never be quieted again. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go!
Saturday of our Rotterdam weekend. It's incredible. It's happening fast. I got a couple announcements before we break. Don't forget, as you guys are walking out, to pay attention to the Sam Foundation, as again, we're trying to do our best to do an incredible thing to help this great organization. The more you give, the more we give. Also, don't forget to register for Madrid. Remember, there's a pre-registration price for those who register this weekend of 119 euros. Take advantage of it. But more importantly, people that are not here, you can pick up the phone or you can SMS. Tell people that if they want to register and get this weekend's special price, they can do it, but the only way they're going to know is if you reach out to them, because ACN is not going to send out an ACN action. So as long as they register before the end of our weekend, before tomorrow night, they can take advantage of that special event price. Also, tomorrow morning, we've got an incredible lineup. I'm telling you, it's something you're not going to want to miss. So tomorrow morning, we're going to start at 9 a.m. promptly.